Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're plunging into a really fascinating story, the whole evolving landscape of high-tech salaries over in Portugal. It's a place many are now calling, Europe's emerging tech hub. And, well, for good reason. Okay, let's unpack this.
Yeah, absolutely. And this isn't just some abstract discussion. For anyone actually looking at new career opportunities or maybe assessing investment potential or even just trying to understand the big shifts in the global tech scene, Portugal presents this, well, uniquely compelling case study. Its rapid rise in tech makes it a market really worth understanding right now.
Totally agree. And to guide you through this, we've pulled together a pretty comprehensive stack of sources. We've got a recent overview from the Portugal Tech Hub, and we're mixing that with granular data from Glassdoor, PayScale, and even Eurostat. Our goal here is to give you the most important insights, quickly and thoroughly, so you walk away really understanding what's happening on the ground there. So let's set the stage a bit. In recent years, Portugal's tech sector, it's just absolutely exploded. We're seeing this real magnet effect, pulling in startup founders, remote workers, global enterprises. The works is often described quite aptly, I think, as small but mighty. But how's that actually translating into, well, paychecks?
It's true, yeah. Portugal's tech salaries, if you look at the absolute numbers, they still lag behind, the established giants like London or Berlin. But, and this is the key thing, what's most compelling here isn't just the current figures, it's the speed at which Portugal's salaries are catching up with Western European levels. Our sources, especially PayScale and Glassdoor's local listings, they really highlight a significant and rapid upward push in wages, particularly in those high demand roles like software engineering, data analytics. You see it strongly in Lisbon and Porto. It's a market that's rapidly shedding its emerging label, you could say.
That rapid convergence is definitely key. And it brings us to what many of you are probably wondering. The actual numbers. What kind of salaries are we really seeing on the ground for these in-demand roles? Okay, let's take a software developer or engineer. For entry level, you're typically looking at somewhere around 25,000 to 35,000 euro per year. Mid-level roles, they climb to about 35,000, maybe up to 50,000 annually. And then for senior level talent, it's often 50,000 to 65,000 euro, sometimes even higher per year, right? Now, if we switch to data scientists and analytics professionals, entry-level positions, they generally range from about 28,000 to 38,000 annually. Mid-level, you can probably expect 38,000 to 55,000 euro. And senior-level pros are seeing, 55,000 up to 70,000 plus.
That's broadly right, yeah.
Okay, one more key area. Cybersecurity specialists. Hugely important field, expanding fast. Entry-level salaries there are often in the 30,000 to 40,000 range. Mid-level can command, say, 40,000 to 60,000, and senior specialists reaching 60,000 to 75,000 euros, maybe even beyond that sometimes.
hmm And it's important, of course, to remember these ranges are, well, they're approximate. They're good benchmarks, but they can definitely vary based on the specific company's size, its location within Portugal, and obviously your individual expertise and negotiation skills play a part. But as a baseline, yeah, they show a clear upward trend, no doubt about it.
That's a really strong baseline to start with. So, okay, beyond just the raw numbers, what's actually driving these figures? What are the unique factors at play in Portugal's tech market that are pushing salaries up like this?
Well, there's this really fascinating dynamic at work. It's between Portugal's, historically lower cost of living and the just surging market demands for tech talent. Historically, yeah, the lower cost of living compared to Northern Europe meant some companies could offer salaries that seemed, well, maybe modest by comparison. But that is changing, and changing fast. The global rise of remote work, you combine that with intense competition for the local tech talent pool,
Yeah.
it's rapidly bridging that salary gap.
Right. So are you saying these big global companies setting up shop there are effectively lifting all boats, like forcing local companies to raise their game on salaries too?
Precisely. That's a good way to put it. Multinational firms with operations in Portugal, the Microsoft's, Google's, BMW's of the world, they are known to pay wages closer to Western European levels, especially for those really in-demand skill sets like AI, cloud computing, cybersecurity. And this naturally creates pressure for local companies to adjust their own compensation, which at the end of the day benefits the tech professional.
Okay, that makes sense. What about company size? Does that matter much?
Oh, definitely. Company size and funding stage also play a pretty significant role. You'll find that well-funded startups, particularly those that have secured Series A or later investment rounds, they tend to offer more competitive salaries than, say, very early stage ventures. Now, conversely, while smaller local startups might offer a lower base salary, they often try to supplement it, maybe with equity stakes or performance bonuses, especially to attract talent in those early high growth phases.
Right, the equity angle.
Exactly. And then, of course, you've got geographic differences, though maybe not as stark as you might assume, actually. Lisbon, well, it's the most expensive city in Portugal, so generally it sees the highest tech salaries. Porto follows pretty closely behind. But regions like Braga and Aveiro, while they might offer slightly lower pay, they also come with significantly lower living costs. The interesting takeaway, I think, is that the overall salary gap across the country isn't as dramatic as you might find elsewhere in Europe, which means you can still find decent pay outside the capital while enjoying a much more affordable lifestyle.
Okay, that paints a really clear picture of the salary landscape itself. But as we always say on the deep dive, it's never just about the base salary number, is it? What else is in the mix? What are the other maybe hidden benefits or perks that make a tech job offer in Portugal potentially really attractive?
That's a great point. Yeah, beyond the base pay, a few key perks and benefits definitely stand out. Portugal's startup community, especially in the main hubs like Lisbon and Porto, is increasingly embracing stock options and equity compensation. For high-level engineers or executives, this can be a really crucial differentiator, particularly if you're weighing an offer against, say, a Silicon Valley salary. It's a way for these companies to align incentives and share the potential future success.
So equity is becoming more common, less of a rarity.
Increasingly so, yes, especially in venture-backed companies. Then there's health insurance. That's another area to look at. Multinational tech firms, they often provide quite comprehensive health packages. Local startups might be more likely to subsidize private insurance plans. And furthermore, the whole post-COVID landscape, it's really cemented the widespread adoption of remote or hybrid work models. This offers employees really attractive, flexible schedules and genuinely enhances work-life balance, which frankly is highly valued in Portuguese culture anyway.
So it's not just like a policy on paper, but it fits with the broader culture's embrace of flexibility.
Exactly. And what's also fascinating here, I think, is the strong culture of professional development that seems to be emerging. Many companies seem genuinely keen to invest in their people, subsidizing courses, paying for conference attendance. We even see partnerships with organizations like Intellity, that's a US-based hub, helping people train up and get into Portugal's tech scene and also local universities. This commitment to ongoing learning and growth, it can be a very strong selling point, especially for mid and senior level roles. It shows a kind of long-term investment in your career path.
That gives a really rounded view of the total package.
Yep.
Okay, so with all this context, for anyone listening who's seriously considering a move or an opportunity in Portugal, what's the practical next step? How do you actually go about negotiating a fair offer knowing all this?
Right, let's get practical.
Yeah.
There are probably 4 key tips for negotiating your salary effectively in the Portuguese market. First, and this is crucial everywhere, but maybe even more so here, do your homework. Use platforms like Glassdoor, PayScale, and also local communities. Landing.jobs is a good one. They regularly update average salary data. This gives you a solid data-backed understanding of the going rates for your specific role and your experience level. Don't go in blind.
Okay, research first. Makes sense. What's next?
Second, leverage the cost of living advantage, but maybe in a nuanced way. While Portugal's base salaries might still look a bit lower than, say, London or Amsterdam on paper, your overall quality of life when you factor in housing costs, food, healthcare could actually be significantly better. So if you're relocating from a higher cost region, you can highlight this during negotiations. Frame it around achieving a total compensation that's fair in both the local and your previous global context. It's about the overall lifestyle value, not just the number.
Okay. So it's about shifting the perspective a bit, away from just the pure euro figure to the actual purchasing power and the quality of life that figure buys you there.
Precisely. It reframes the discussion. Third, focus on skill scarcity. This is huge. Specialists in really hot areas like AI, machine learning, cybersecurity, or maybe DevOps, they are exceptionally in demand right now. If you possess that kind of niche expertise, you often can command premium salaries or negotiate much better benefits. Why? Because companies are fiercely competing for a limited pool of talent in these critical fields. You have significant leverage.
Use that leverage if you've got it.
Got it. And the last tip.
And finally, number 4, ask about the equity and the perks. Don't forget them. Remember, base salary is only one part of the whole package. Stock options, performance bonuses, those flexible work policies we talked about, educational stipends, these can significantly boost the overall value of an offer. And this raises an important question, really, for anyone evaluating an offer. What truly defines your ideal total compensation package? Are you considering all its components before you accept?
That's really actionable advice. Okay, so we've covered Where Portugal's tech salaries are now, the drivers, the full package, how to negotiate. But what about the future? What's next for this clearly very dynamic tech scene? What can we realistically expect moving forward?
Well, the outlook is definitely one of, I'd say, continued expansion and maturation. You see it in several indicators. Initiatives like the Tech Visa program, ongoing government-backed funding. These are actively supporting growth, making it easier for skilled international professionals to enter the market. We're also seeing this steady influx of remote workers choosing Portugal as a base. That's contributing to further salary increases, particularly for those cutting-edge and managerial roles, simply because the talent pool becomes even more competitive.
More competition driving wages up further.
Exactly. And furthermore, you have new domains rapidly emerging within Portugal's tech landscape. Think things like quantum computing, advanced robotics, green tech. As these fields mature, the market for specialized professionals in those areas will likely drive wages upward even more aggressively. There's going to be huge demand. And if we connect this to the bigger economic picture, Eurostat data, for instance, shows improved overall economic indicators for Portugal year over year. That lends significant stability to the country's business environment. Combine that stability with a vibrant startup community and strong ties to larger European tech ecosystems, it really points towards a steady upward trend for tech salaries across the board.
It genuinely sounds like Portugal offers this really compelling, balanced proposition. You've got decent and clearly rising salaries, a relatively affordable cost of living still, and this relaxed, welcoming culture. It seems like an increasingly attractive destination for anyone looking for both, solid career growth and a high quality of life.
Indeed, I think that balance is key. And as Portugal's tech ecosystem continues to mature and really find its unique place on the global stage, it sort of raises an interesting final thought for you, the listener, to consider. How might Portugal's distinctive blend of, say, cost effectiveness and rapidly growing innovation actually start to redefine what a top tier tech hub truly means in the global landscape? Is it just about the highest absolute salary, or is it more nuanced? Definitely keep a close eye on these trends there. And perhaps think about how these dynamics, this mix of factors, might also apply or play out in other emerging tech markets around the world. It's a fascinating space to watch.